So welcome everybody to the kickoff meeting of CyberWise. This group is called W for winter, 25 for the year. Tonight's class is atypical. It's not a typical class because I'm not the teacher of the course. I'm the administrator. I'm the educational director, I call myself. Aaron Liebert is the teacher, and he's a professional pen tester. And I mentioned to you by email or in the Slack channel that Baruch Hashem just had a baby, his third child. And so he's making a bris on Tuesday. I told him, don't come. I just did not want, he's a new father with a baby. He has two other kids to take care of. So I released him. And anyway, in all the classes, I always give the first hour of class to give people where we're coming from, where we're going and how we're going to get there, an overview of the course. And I do like to share some cyber stuff that I think is important right off the bat. So let me share my presentation. We'll get started. Okay. So it starts like who we are and how we got here. Our Israeli nonprofit is called Tzomet Yi'utz V'Limudim. And we've rebranded as CareerWise. And what we do is we have clients all the time in career counseling. We provide outsourced career counseling services to Touro College Israel program. So we have hundreds of clients through that. And we found over the years, my wife and I have been doing this a long time, over a decade, that there weren't good options, especially for smart Haredi girls and for the men also. So we started setting up programs to train people to use their good brains and enter the international job market. So that's... we understand that it's a combination of who you are, your skills, personality, inclinations, what makes you happy, and external factors, expectations, culture, money, full-time, part-time, what's going on in the market. At the end of the day, I'd like to put everybody into a great job, but the market actually controls. In economics, there's something called the invisible hand of the marketplace that I learned about already in 10th grade. And it turns out the invisible hand of the marketplace is the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's the Shem Elokim, Begimatria Hateva. And so the world is like a jungle. It's a market. And we don't own it or control it, but we can give you some really important skills and guidance in how to navigate and do well. So what do? Training and placement. Our value proposition is our deep understanding, our respect for people, and our valuable connections to industry. So you're going to spend a year investing in education, acquisition of skills and practice. We have a company, a cyber company. I'm going to show you a little bit more about that and then help you move into bigger, better things. I'm going to take this call because maybe it's our student. Hello. Okay, my bad. I did send her a bad link. I'm taking a moment to send a good link. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. Sharing my screen. So I'm talking about what our program is about and what we're about. We're about people and giving people skills and experience in order to get a good job in this industry. Okay, so let me tell you my cyber experience because I'm not a super technical person. I gave a webinar last week in how to bring AI into your website or your web app, whatever, and do it in a secure way. And I said, I'm not Mr. Bits and Bytes, And so I'm telling you now, don't ask me technical questions over the course of this year. You'll have, ways to ask questions on Slack, and you could ask each other. And you could have, of course, ask your teacher, and he'll help you. But don't ask me technical questions because I'm not technical. I love and hate technology. I love it. It's like we're earning our living this way, and we're helping people, and it's a great thing. You have people, you could be anywhere in the world and work, and so it's a really cool thing, technology. But it bugs me because it doesn't always work, the way you want it to, and that's upsetting. So as a cyber professional, you have to get over that and just, make things work and be frustrated. They say 90% frustration, and then you break through and you're happy. So that'll be for you, not for me. Anyway, but I do have I have roots in the cyber industry, and it comes from I have a master's in finance, and so I worked in an investment fund that was invested in some homeland security companies. And so I got involved in homeland security a little bit, the finance and strategic marketing and so forth. And one thing led to another. I got involved in biometrics. And then I was with a company that participated in the Citibank is a great international bank. And they actually say about themselves that they're a technology company with a banking license. So they believe that technology is really the driver of their banking business. So they have a great technology accelerator in North Tel Aviv. And I brought a company to participate in that program. And so I got to work with really smart, good technical people in Citi. And I met other companies there, and I actually joined up with them. And this great company called Sixgill. Sixgill is a shark that lives at the bottom of the ocean. And the reason they called their company Sixgill is because they went deep into the dark web. Okay, and I'm going to show you now what the dark web is. And this company is flying high. And my friend who I met in Citi of Sixgill, he's a multimillionaire. He made an exit, and he's like, a 50-year-old retiree, and Baruch Hashem, he did really well. Anyway, this is sort of how I got into cyber. And so the angle that I know best in cyber is what's called cyber threat intel, the intelligence of what the attackers are planning and doing, and sharing that intelligence with the banks. For example, you go on the dark web and you see they're selling what they call dumps, which are large groups of stolen credit card data, the credit card, the expiration date, and the CVV, and the name on the card. And they're selling that, you pay with Bitcoin, so it's anonymous. And it's trillions of dollars, the business of cybercrime, okay? It's the largest transfer of wealth in human history. And it's much better than being a bank robber, because if you're a bank robber, you got to carry a gun, and you could get shot, and you'll probably go to jail. If you're a cyber criminal, you can wear your pajamas all day. You can live in your mom's basement, and you can make a real lot of money. So cybercrime is a really big thing. Especially in countries outside of the West, whether in Russia or Iran, North Korea. There's cyber criminals all over the world, of course. It's a really big deal. And so what we got to do is protect ourselves, and it's cat and mouse. It's all the time trying to stay ahead of the hackers who are going to be using technology to try to steal our stuff. So we're all in this front, on this war, this cyber war against the bad guys, the hackers. They're called malicious actors. And so anyway, this particular company, Cyber Sixgill, they're going into the dark web, where these guys sell stolen information to one another and do other stuff, and then give that information to the bank. So the bank knows that all these credit cards have already been stolen. They'll cancel them in advance so that they don't get used. So that's why Citibank did business with Sixgill. So let me go on. Yeah, this is my friend Avi, and leading cyber intelligence company. They were selected as one of the top 10 most innovative and promising digital initiatives of the year, part of UNESCO. So really a great international company. And as I said, he made a lot of money from that. So that was fun for me to be part of a winning team. So I mentioned the deep web and the dark web. Let me show you just a little bit about that. The deep web, invisible web, or hidden web, parts of the World Wide Web. Yeah, the parts of the web that we know, Google, Wikipedia, YouTube, that's just on the surface, okay? But there's all this stuff that's beneath the surface, like an iceberg. An iceberg has, part of it is above the surface, but a lot of it is beneath the ocean. So there's all these unindexed sites, medical records, research papers, banking, where you can't just Google somebody's bank account, right? You're not going to find that information. That's called the deep web. But beneath that, there's the dark web. And the dark web, there's something called the Tor browser. Okay, and the Tor browser was actually created by the United States, I think it was the Navy or maybe the CIA, so that dissidents or spies in foreign countries could have anonymity. They can use the internet and no one will know where they are or who they are. What's happened, actually, though, is it's become the haven for criminals. And so you can buy all terrible things here. Certainly weapons, you can buy human body parts, and all crime takes place basically on the Tor network in the dark web. And because it's totally anonymous, you know, you can converse with people there, but they can't know who you are or where you are. So that's where the criminals go to do a lot of their business. Anyway, this is the dark web, and you'll learn about this and how to use this in hacking and in defense against hacking. So that's the deep web and the dark web. So I'm still introducing our course and what we're doing, and so I guess 2025 is the beginning of the 9th year of our program, and Baruch Hashem, we have all these graduates, just a few of them, who are flying high in the industry and growing and doing really well. A network of people, and let's see, I'm trying to see if I have Ramat Beit Shemesh here. She's in Beitar. Yeah, she's in Ramat Beit Shemesh, Naomi Skar, but actually she may live somewhere else now. It doesn't matter. Wonderful people who took our course and are doing really great in the ecosystem. Why is it such a good fit for our community? First of all, there's a shortage of talent. There's an opportunity here in cyber because there's a shortage of talent both in Israel and in the international industry. And the barrier to entry is not a college degree or something specific. It's brains and learning how to do stuff. So if you learn how to do these things and use these tools, you become a really valuable professional. There's relatively high pay after a relatively short education. And our community is a lot about family and flexibility, both for women and for men. So there's flexible work from home possibilities, which is a really big deal for a lot of people. This is a Hasidic guy. He doesn't even have a high school education, obviously not college. Google ranked him as the 23rd best hacker in the world, whatever that means. But he's a whiz. And I am going to share now. He has a startup company. He's older than this already. He's in his 30s. And he has a startup called Reflecties, which is third-party security for websites. And I'm going to share a couple videos this evening to sort of teach us about stuff. There's something called supply chain attacks, where instead of coming from the front, like if you wanted to take over Ben Gurion Airport, you wouldn't drive in the front gate because there's all those guys with machine guns there and you have to go through security, right? That's not going to work. But if you came through the back, you were in the back of a van of people that deliver food or something else to Ben Gurion, you'd come in through the supply chain. That'd be a much smarter way to break in. So that's how the hackers do it. They come in through the supply chain. And so on a company's website, there's all these services that are running in the back of the website. And so the hackers will come in through the back. So I'm going to share with you their video of this company called Reflecties. Share sound.
Okay, let's say you are a CISO. You successfully protect your website against advanced cyber attacks every day. You use the best security solutions: firewalls, WAF, IPS. You are fully secured. Or not? Meet your trusted friends, the web third-party components. These components help your company scale its business and technology. Social media, ads and analytics components, engagement tools, authentication apps, even the JavaScript code your developers download from various online sources. These third parties are already installed on your website, dozens of them, and they're managed remotely. Yeah, it means they can be modified without your knowledge and bypass your precious security perimeter. Groups like the MagCard hackers already exploit them, using them to extract business and private data, causing huge breaches and fines. And yet, the accountability is on your side. So, what can you do about all this? You could remove all these essential third parties, or simply use Reflecties. Reflectease monitors your website, identifying the third parties that are already installed on it and analyzing their behavior, verifying that nothing is compromised, and easily helps mitigate your third-party security and privacy risks from day one. And the greatest part? Reflectease is an external platform which requires no installation, saving you costs and unnecessary headaches. With Reflectease, you get full third-party inventory and an effective risk mitigation for your website from day one. So, don't reinvent the wheel. Just use Reflectease.
So I thought that was interesting. It gave us an example of an Israeli security company that is providing security. One of the things we'll learn over the course of the years, because there are ongoing attacks at all times, you have to monitor what's going on your system. So there are what's called logs of all the interaction between your system and anybody who accesses it. So they're monitoring your system and all the third-party apps that are going on your website to keep track of it, that you're not getting hacked from the outside. Whoops. Okay, quiet down. Okay. So that's this guy that I showed you, this Chassid. His name is Bert, I think. Okay. What is hacking and why do people do it? I have another video that I'm sharing, so let me share my video. Another one. It's sort of elementary, but I like it. It gives a good perspective on hacking. So let's take a look. Yes. No. Okay, I can't get it to go, so I'm skipping it. It's basically talking about the fact that it tells a little bit about the history of hacking. And it started by people making phone calls using like a whistle, because the dialer of the phone was based on sounds. So you could reproduce those sounds with a whistle and get a free phone call. And from there, people kept advancing with the technology and how to take advantage of it, how to use technology in a different way than it was designed for. So like, even they say Galileo was a hacker because he was using lenses to, create a telescope. Anyway, hacking is using technology in a way different than it was designed for. And you could be an ethical hacker. You could be hacking for the purposes of good, or you could be obviously a black hat hacker, using it to steal. And one of the things that we'll see, there's a real lot of malicious scripts. I get this all the time. I get these emails saying, Jonathan, bad news. We've seen that you're going on the internet and going to all these bad sites, and we're going to tell the whole world and publicize it to all your friends unless you pay us money through Bitcoin. So they're trying to scam me, and they really don't know anything, and they don't have my history, and I wasn't going to bad sites, but they're scaring me that they have all my logs and so forth. And the people doing that, they bought that, let's say on the dark web, whatever, and they send out this email, and some people will get scared and will send them money. So it's free money, but they're really unsophisticated. There's a lot of hackers who are very simple, and they're just buying scripts and then sending them out and seeing if it works because there's no risk involved. There are sophisticated hackers that are, really know how to use technology. And as I said, it's an ongoing battle. Using technology, the good guys using it without the bad guys taking over. AI, of course, is cutting edge technology. Everybody's excited about AI right now. There's a lot of hype about it. The hype might be bigger than how much it's really going to change our lives, but it's a big deal, and a lot of people want to put AI onto their website. So our cyber company, which is called Telarm, I gave a webinar about it last week. This was my webinar, how to incorporate AI into your product in a secure way. Avoid costly mistakes and secure your AI from threats. Because, as we say, the technology continues to develop, and so the hackers continue to get new ideas of how to attack you and how to steal your data and use it against you. So that people in the field of cybersecurity, it's not like, oh, I know cybersecurity and now I can do it. That would be maybe in accounting or something. I know accounting and now I just do it. But in cyber, it's an ongoing thing because it's using the technology as it gets developed. The bad guys are going to try to use it against us, and we, the good guys, have to defend. So one of the things we'll talk about this evening is a love of learning, and a lifelong curiosity and the desire to always learn more and stay abreast of newest developments, because cybersecurity is a never-ending, quest for knowledge of new technologies and how to protect ourselves. Every new technology is a pathway for hackers to attack, so we got to learn how to secure it. This is 4 reasons why Israel is leading a global VC rebound despite the war. This is John Medved, who's the head of our crowd, very wealthy man who's done wonderful things for bringing investment into Israel. This is about venture capital. And Israel's in an unbelievable place in terms of leading the world in cyber. In recent years, Israel's emerged as the global leader in cybersecurity startups. About 50% of all venture funding in the sector, meaning worldwide, is in Israel. 50% of all venture funding. Cybersecurity accounted for 52% of private Israeli startup funding. Companies accounted for 35% of the value of Israel's exits. So cyber is a huge industry in Israel, and that's part of the reason that we're here, and we have this great opportunity because we're here. This is a Haredi woman. You may have heard of her. Her name is Ann Neuberger, Chani Neuberger. She was top person in Biden's White House. She was senior U.S. national security advisor, the senior White House cybersecurity leader, Ann Neuberger. And this is a woman who took our course and works with us. Her name is Hannah Kay. And so when this woman came to Israel, she held a round table, and our lady was part of it. So these are Haredi women who are leading the world of cyber, which is unbelievable and really exciting to be a part of that. Okay, here's another Haredi woman. It says she's at the top of Israel's cyber game. So I'm just showing, and we know her, and she's helping us out. So I'm just pointing out that there's great opportunities for our students and graduates in this field. Who works in cyber? I attended some cyber threat intel workshops in the US. A lot of the people were from the military or FBI, CIA, those types of people, some from big companies. But 34% of the people working in the industry had no prior experience. And I just want to emphasize that nobody was born knowing cybersecurity. It's something you learn whenever you get into it. Then you tinker, you play with it. You practice, you read, you take tests and certifications, and you become a member of the industry and a professional. So, fully a third of the people are coming with no prior experience. There's a human capital shortage for IT security operations. Again, a huge number, 4.7 million people reaching its highest ever levels. That's the encouraging news. So there's opportunity here for people that have really master the skills. So that's one of our opportunities. I just mentioned this briefly in the open house, and not everybody was there, that there's different job opportunities and different pathways in the world of cyber. There's one that's sort of like accounting, about regulations and auditing for personalities of people who might like to work in a bank or an accounting firm. There are people like that. There are other people that are like hackers. They like to take things apart and see if they can break them and fix them. And those are called red teamers or ethical hackers. There are people who like people and want to train other people and teach them how to be safe online or how to understand new technologies. That's a whole field of people who like explain cyber to non-cyber people. And there's people who are like scientific. They want to do R&D, research and development on malware that comes out, and cyber researcher is a great job. So R&D is a big part of the field. This is a video. It's sort of for high schoolers. I think I'm not going to show it to you today, but it's again showing that there's all different character types that can find their way and succeed in the world of cyber. This is a great graphic of the diverse branches of the cybersecurity industry. It's not like, you become an accountant and then you do accounting. There's many different things going on in this industry. There's risk assessment. This is governance. This is threat intelligence, user education, security operations. A SOC is a security operations center. A SIM is security event manager, career development. This is security architecture, physical security, frameworks and standards. So there's lots of different opportunities here. I'm going to show you more details about it. So real pathways from CyberWise onward. What do our graduates do upon conclusion of this course? And again, we've been running it for enough years that we really have a track record. So a lot of our students become SOC analysts, which is a great place to start. Because when you're in the SOC and you're seeing the attacks that are coming, as they're coming, you learn about what's going on and how they're doing it. So that's a really good place to start, even if you don't plan to stay as a SOC analyst, because there's a tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So we have a bunch of students who are SOC analysts. Cybersecurity researcher, you'd be reading and studying about various attack vectors and how to protect, and then writing about it and training others. GRC is governance, risk, and compliance. That's like the auditing positions. And when companies want to do business with one another, they have to check, is the other company compliant, and what are their cybersecurity policies? And so there's all this paperwork that goes back and forth. Incident response, when something bad really happens, the hackers have broken in, there's a breach, there's ransomware, there's something. So you got to deal with that in real time. That's like sort of an exciting one. Those are like paramedics or something like that. Pen tester is a very rewarding career. Testing, a website or a web app to find its vulnerabilities. What are the weak spots? And your teacher, Arne Liebert, is a professional pen tester. And there's even specialties within pen testing of people who test web apps or people who test networks and the cloud. So, but pen testing is a great field. There's something called, bounty hunting, where if you look at a new, Microsoft thing, and you find a vulnerability within Microsoft's Windows, and then you tell them about it, they'll pay you a lot of money to expose the weakness before the bad guys have found it. So there are people it's called bug bounty. You find a bug, which is a security breach, and then you tell them about it, and they pay you serious money. So being a pen tester is exciting if you're into that kind of thing. And the last one that I cited here is a vCISO. CISO stands for Chief Information Security Officer. So a company has a CEO and a CFO and maybe a Chief Marketing officer, whatever, and maybe a CIO, a Chief Information Officer. Today, a lot of companies need or do have or should have a CISO, a Chief Information Security Officer. But because smaller companies can't afford and maybe don't need a full-time person, so they hire a cybersecurity company to provide them with a virtual CISO. So we have a couple graduates, really smart young women who also had computer degrees, and they, right after the course, within a few months of finishing the course, they became vCISOs, and they were responsible for the whole cybersecurity posture of various companies in Israel. I'll give you a name of a company, Yad Shnayim, which is, the used cars and used everything in Israel, a website where people buy and sell stuff. So they are a client of this company. And so this woman was a Beis Yaakov teacher, and she came and said, I can't support my family on a teaching salary. So she came and took our course, and then she became a virtual CISO. So that's a cool thing, because then you're involved with management. You're talking to CEOs and you're talking to important people. You're teaching them, you're making plans with them. There's a lot of meetings and how to secure the company and teaching them. And so it's a little less technical. You have to understand all the technical, but on a day-to-day basis, there's more human interaction, and it's more of a management position, which is, a unique opportunity as a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old or whatever, however old you are, to sort of jump to the top of the organizational structure and be involved with management. So that's an exciting position. Okay, what are personality traits for success in cyber? So I mentioned curiosity, love of learning, strategic thinking, calm under pressure. Like you can't get, too flustered or annoyed by technology. You got to be calm under pressure, because the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. So failure, I saw recently about Thomas Edison that, 10,000 failures. He now knows 10,000 things that won't work until he finds the one that does work. But so you have to have a good attitude towards failure and towards things that don't work. That's all part of the process. So what are the skills? Attention to detail, creative problem solving, clear communication. Yeah, I'm going to talk about how to ask a question. Just ask a question, this doesn't work, what should I do? That's not a good question. You should, first of all, Google it. We're going to talk more about that. But then when you get to a dead end, make a screenshot and say, this is what I tried, and this is the error that I got. This is a screenshot of the error. Now, what else could I try? That's a good question, because it's a detailed question and you're communicating really clearly. So that's how to ask a good question. Okay, this is in my way. Information management, computer science basics, which you all have, and specialization in a subset. Okay. Okay, I like sharing this slide about different types of cyber attacks. Again, I'm just giving an overview tonight to get our feet in the water. Cyber attacks are mainstream and they're happening all the time. In fact, my next slide, I think, is going to show us how much. DDoS attacks, where they overload a website by sending millions of requests to the website. They get all these bots. A bot is a computer that they've taken over, and they have now malicious malware in these network of computers, and they can get them all to do the same thing at the same time to attack this certain website. They did this to Sony one year on Xmas, and brought down, the Sony, all these kids got all these Sony PlayStations and they couldn't use them. It was so sad for them because they did a DDoS attack to them, which is a denial of service, a distributed denial of service. That's what it stands for. It's like if everybody called the pizza store at the same time and their lines were busy, nobody could order pizza. That's how I think of a DDoS attack. SQL injection. Any company that has a website, and you could put your name and phone number, ask them to call you. So you have to be careful that the hackers could come into the form, your online form, and they could put commands into your form, erasing your database or doing other malicious things to destroy your website. That's called a SQL injection, going into your database and messing it up. Defacing a website, account hijacking. You're going to learn a lot of really cool hacks, how to do them and how to defend against them. It really is a fascinating field in that respect. In the other class, they're in the middle of the course now. They started in September, and they just gave presentations, what we called InfoSec, information security presentations, and a number of the young women are really good hackers. And so they created a tool where it was like a phishing attack, where you get an email from Microsoft, download this newest update, and it really takes you to a site that's not Microsoft. It looks like Microsoft, but it's not Microsoft, and it takes your password and so forth. And the young women created these really cool things, so that was really fun to see. So that's the kind of stuff you learn to do. This is a fascinating, it's a picture from Kaspersky, and it shows in real time the frequency of cyber attacks going on across the world through cyberspace. And it's a really cool thing to look at. So that's what I want to show. That this is so, it's not like once in a while there's a cyber attack. No, the banks particularly and other businesses are constantly under threat and under attack because like we said, that to be a cyber hacker, to be a cyber criminal, there's very little risk. Most of them will not get caught, and it's certainly not violent. And so you can steal other people's money and take money out of other people's bank accounts, and there's not a lot of downside. So people who are immoral or amoral are hacking the world, and it's destroying civilization. It creates a great cost on all of us that all of us have to bear because we have to protect ourselves against the hackers. So it's a really big deal. People who are not in cyber, they don't realize how big it is. But as you get into the course and you begin to understand, you realize this is enormous and it's everywhere. And we're all on the front. We all have to be so careful. And I'm going to talk in just a moment about passwords, one of the first lines of defense. Here it is. This is a great slide, a great graphic that I found in the past. And so I want to share because this is like a take-home point from tonight. Don't wait till later in the course or the end of the course. Do it tonight, or at least this week. Strengthen all your passwords, okay? And let me explain. I before I got into the world of cyber, I thought, does it really matter, your password? Can't the hackers get in anyway? And the answer is passwords matter. And here's like the mathematical analysis of it. If there are 4 characters in a password, like a PIN code with 4 characters, so think how many there are. There's only 9,999 different combinations. A computer, there's an attack called brute force. Brute force, I think of brute force guys at a door and they knock down the door with brute force. But brute force in cyber means having the computer try every possibility. How long does it take a computer to try to solve a PIN code, every possibility, when there's 9,999? The answer is instantaneously, right? The computer could go through all those possibilities instantly. So that's why there has to be the number of times that you try. If you try to put in your PIN code wrong twice, the ATM swallows your card, so you can't keep trying. Because if you could keep trying, you would just sit there and put in all the combinations until you got into the account. So that's very important. So look at these numbers, though. If your password had, even if it was only 4 digits, okay? So even though it has numbers and letters and even upper and lowercase and even uppercase, lowercase, and even symbols, but if it's only 4 or 5 characters, there's just not that many combinations, right? It's statistics. And a computer could go through all those combinations instantly. So a password with only 5 symbols is not ever strong. So that's why the banks require you to have 6 or 8. And look, though, how strong a password gets if it has like 12. If it has 12 characters and you use both uppercase, lowercase, and symbols, it would take a computer 34,000 years to break it because there's that many combinations. So this is why having a long password and a password that includes both numbers and lowercase and uppercase and symbols is very, very important. It really makes a difference. You want to have one of these in the green area, a password of like 12 characters. And we'll talk about it during the course. You could have a password manager where you have these totally long and random passwords that you can't remember, and you only need to remember one password to get into your vault. And I'll show you one of the ways to create a real strong password is to take like a sentence or something. And in fact, because although we're English speakers, we know Hebrew, it's good. There's something called a dictionary attack, where they try every word in the dictionary. So if your password is a Hebrew word, let's say spherois, okay? So you've taken a Hebrew word and you write it in English, it's not in the dictionary. So that's the beginning of a good password. If you then, put a $ in it, which is a symbol, and you put some numbers in it, So then you could begin to have a stronger password. Here I made a really strong password. This says Kal v'chomer ben beno shel Kal v'chomer. Okay, so that's a really strong password, and I could sort of remember it because it's about Kal v'chomer ben beno shel Kal v'chomer. And so I could put on my computer a reminder to myself, it's the Yud Gimel Midos. So that's a strong password where I've substituted exclamation marks for the L's and these threes for some of the E's and so forth. That's the beginning of a really strong password. So strong passwords matter. Don't use the same password for a lot of different websites. They say passwords are like your socks. People don't need to see them. You need to change them often. Passwords do need to be changed often. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so I taught a little bit about passwords. One of the things to become an insider in really any industry is to read the periodicals or the stuff that's going on in that field. So staying up to date, industry newsletters, websites, conferences, even going to conferences. There was one in the summer here in Israel at Tel Aviv University. It's worth going. So we'll explore and we'll find, and it's worthwhile reading cybersecurity websites to keep abreast of what's going on. And that's something I know Aaron will do. Each week he'll talk a little bit about cyber news, and we'll share things on the Slack channel. Okay, I'm ready to discuss the actual course structure, how this is going to work. So attendance, showing up is important. If you can't be there, it's good to let me or Aaron know, or both. So just especially when it's a small group, it's good to know. And although I sent you for the wrong link, I try to send the right link. And Aaron, well, I guess Aaron sends me the links, and I'll send you the links usually. Or maybe I'll put them in Slack, but I'd like to send an email on Sundays. So now we actually have a number of different platforms. It's a drop complex, but it's not too confusing. The Slack channel is like sort of where we hang out, where we live, and talk to one another and share information, ask questions, and so forth. But there's another platform called Teachable, where I invited you, and that's where like some of the course modules are. Like each week, Aaron will upload a recording, which is significant. It could be up to 3 hours or something like that. We used to have a 5-hour class, and it was grueling. It was really hard for people to be in class for 5 hours. So we came up with this better formulation of having an hour or two of class on Sunday, and then the rest of it is in a recording on Teachable. So you'll go there and you'll watch. I mean, you really need to do it. You need to spend the time watching, and then there's assignments. There's a Google Classroom because Teachable was really made as a platform like hit and run, like people buy your stuff and run. So obviously ours is sort of free, meaning it's included in your tuition, but it doesn't have a way for you to turn in assignments. So that's why we use the Google Classroom for tests and assignments and so forth. So that's why, yes, there's a lot of platforms here, but that's how we use them. So yeah, part of the course is the homework and the research. That's really how you're going to grow and become professionals in the field, by doing stuff yourself. I sent, or I will send. I'll put up today in the Slack channel. I'll put up the syllabus and the academic calendar, and it has the tests and the projects. There's 3 main projects. There's a Python project, an InfoSec project, and then the final project. And there's a few like multiple choice tests along the way, because that helps you study and focus and master the stuff. And yeah, that's in this field, certifications, which are also, those are tests. So tests are actually an important part of succeeding in this field. I will be giving a few workshops during the year on soft skills training, how to write your CV, how to behave in a job interview, how to do a job search, how to use LinkedIn, and so forth. We have a cyber company. We work with other cyber companies, so we have the opportunity to put you into an internship to give you actual real-world experience, and then we're going to help place you in the company in this field. Baruch Hashem, we have a really strong record of placing our graduates in companies. Some work. I was just in contact today with a guy named Eliezer. He lives now in Ramat Beit Shemesh. He works for a German company. Online, totally remote. And we have a woman in Beitar who works for an American company, and of course we have people working in Israeli companies. So all different situations: part-time, full-time, remote, and on-site. Everybody's doing their own thing. So that's how the course works. Here's the covenant. Here's the brit. We open doors, you deliver the goods. The course is not magic. And I see the people that I'm dealing with, nobody is expecting magic, but I'm just emphasizing it's not magic. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme or something like that. We're going to teach you these skills to work really hard and earn an honest living. And so that, so the covenant is that we will bring you this information and teach you skills and guide you and so forth, but ultimately it's on you to really acquire the skills and then ultimately to deliver the goods. Your new best friend. I don't know who your best friend was till today, but from today, your new best friend has got to be Google, okay? Because everything that you want to know, you got to Google it, okay? So, never ask a question of somebody else until you Google it, because Google basically knows everything. And so do whatever research you can on your own to Google things and learn about them. And then when you get stuck or there's something you didn't understand or you couldn't find, so that's when you ask a question of somebody else after you've exhausted the resources at your disposal. And it's true, I can't say it enough. It's true about every topic in life, and today with AI, it's even more. I teach a course at Meor Seminary in Yerushalayim, young women there. And some of the girls say they talk to AI at the end of the day. Like AI helps them relax and deal with their problems at night. So it's not much their best friend. So I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm just saying that through the power of technology and the internet and artificial intelligence, there's just a wealth of information out there, and mastering that, the ability to use that and take that information and empower yourself with that is very, very valuable. Some people don't know this word. It's a sort of a slang Hebrew word. The word is fighter or fighterit. And here's a person. And I teach this word because it's your new identity. And we had a woman, I think she had 7 kids or something, a Haredi woman in Beitar, and she's a fighterit. She's taking the course to get a job and support her family. And so she's not weak and soft. She's tough and she's a fighter. And that's what you want to be in this industry, because we're crime fighters, right? We're fighting cybercrime. And it's not like we're angry or there's blood all over. It's not like that. But there's a certain mental toughness and a certain critical thinking. So we have fun and it's interesting and it's pleasant. But I'm just saying your attitude should be like a fighter. Okay, and for men and women. We have a nice program called CyberStars, where we invite graduates or people from the industry to come back and talk for a few minutes to the class about their career and how they got into it and how you can advance your career. And that's a really nice thing. I have a lot on the website already. It's worthwhile when you have a chance to take a look at some of those on the cyberwisecourse.com, the CyberStars. You'll enjoy hearing them. It's really, really nice. I mentioned briefly, I'll talk a little bit more about it now, and then we'll talk about it later during the year, which is a certification pathway. And even people who are advanced in the industry and have been in it for a decade, they still get new certifications as new things come out, and to show and to stay on top of things. But one of the good ways at the beginning of your career to gain credibility is to have a credential. Right, our course is a great course, but we're a pretty small company. We're not internationally recognized. So one of the ways to get international recognition for your studies is to get a certification. And there's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different companies who offer these certifications. And so it's a decision that you'll make which certification you want to get. And that will depend on what you want to do. Do you want to be a pen tester? Do you want to work in GRC? And you don't have to do a certification right away. We've had a lot of students who got their first job without having any certification. And then a lot of times their employer help them pay for their first certification. Employers will usually pay for the certifications. They cost around $200 or $300 to take a test. It's a standardized test. You can today take them on your own computer at home, and you sign the thing that you're not cheating, whatever, but you don't have to go anywhere to take them. You study for them. There's a lot of free materials online. You could pay for materials. I don't think you need to do that. And so there's a whole, like, this is a company, CompTIA, and they have one about computers, one about networking, and then one called Security Plus, which is a good basic introduction to this field that over the course of this year, you'll basically learn just about everything you need for the Security Plus test. And that might be something you want to focus on and do for yourself. And there are other companies where instead of like a multiple choice test, the test is going to be actually hacking. They're going to give you technical challenges for you to, break in and so forth. And you're going to do a lot of that in the course. There's something called Hack the Box and Hack Me and Try Hack Me, a lot of different websites that are created to practice hacking skills, and you'll do a lot of that. So there's tests like that, certifications, where it's not a multiple choice question, it's hacking skills for real. And those are very valuable certifications. If you come to a company and you have that on your CV or in your interview, so that shows you really know what you're doing because you really, hacked your way in. So those are very, very valuable certifications as a credential to show that you know what you're doing, you're part of it. But like I said, they're not absolutely necessary, especially in your first job. You don't necessarily have to have one. What I actually recommend to our students is put one on your CV. Even if you don't have it, say that you're studying for it. Say, I'm studying for the Security Plus or whatever, expected, July 2025 or, something like that. And that shows the employer that you are looking to get a credential, that you're studying, that you like to study, you like to learn more and gain more skills and knowledge, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for people who want to learn more and who want to keep advancing, because that's what this field is about. It's about ongoing learning. So that's really the greatest value. So that's my spiel on certifications. I'm the kind of person that likes to have a textbook. Some people don't. They don't need one. I like having a textbook. So here's the CEH. CEH stands for Certified Ethical Hacker. And these are two different CEH guides. So they're sort of expensive. I mean, the Kindle one's only $22. Paperback here, $44. Paperback here, $60. I actually have paperbacks that I would lend out if somebody wanted to come to my house and get one. But you don't need to have this book, but I'm just saying if you like to learn from a textbook, that's an option as a enrichment thing. Here's a good guide. There's a real lot on YouTube. YouTube will be one of the key elements of your online research and things. You'll go to YouTube and you'll, put in what you're looking for. So here he's talking about your CompTIA A+ and so forth. This guy's called Professor Messer, and he's good. So that's a resource that you'll use. He's one of many good online resources. There's an ocean of information which you'll learn as you begin your career in this broad industry. And I say share it with classmates. When you find something good, put it in the Slack channel. I found this really good resource. This guy explains things really clearly and so forth. Because some of the guys that explain it, they have this heavy Indian accent, and it's hard to figure out what they're talking about. So if you find something good, share it. Okay. Okay, this very basic stuff, the Khan Academy about what is the internet and stuff like that, which is, again, you're going to learn all this stuff. And the resources that you choose, you'll see along the way. This is some humor. This is one of my favorite jokes. The customer service asked the guy, his computer is totally dead, right? His computer is a blank screen. And so the customer service says, is it plugged in? And the guy, right, this is his plug, right? He says, duh, yes, of course it's plugged in. Do you think I'm an idiot? So I love that. Because idiots tend to be sort of defensive. What, do you think I'm an idiot? Because they are idiots, and they don't understand that your computer is going to be totally black if that's how you power it up. And this one is tech support says the problem is located somewhere between the keyboard and the chair, right? So the person is the problem. So whatever, that's just here's really my point. My point is that people want to come into the industry the high road as like, a cyber analyst. And that's fun and that's great. And we do have a lot of people that do that. But we also have people that go the low road, that they walk into it. And the low road is to work in tech support, meaning, you're like technical support, you're at a help desk. And help desk is actually a good way into the industry. You're exposed to real issues of networking and cyber, and then you grow and you become, head of the team, and it's a legitimate way to grow in this industry is to come in through tech support. And I understand people aren't taking my course in order to get a job in tech support, but it is a way, something to know about. Okay. I'll share with you the faculty. We don't have all this faculty at this time, but these are people who have taught the course or are teaching the course. The other course is being taught by Dori, who's from Shmona Matayim, who's a cyber commander and instructor there. And your instructor is Aaron Liebert. He lives, as I said, in Ramat Beit Shemesh. He's a pen tester for a great company called Accenture. Leah Rosenberg may teach a class or two. Yitzhak, Leo, Shalom Chanake. Miri works with me. She'll help you set up the tuition payments. My wife, Hannah, she's the big boss. She's the CEO of the organization, and I call myself the educational director. This is Aaron. He's an application security pen tester at Accenture. This is Leah. She's a VCSO. She came with a computer degree, and she's really smart, and so she got a job and right away started as a CISO. Leo was our teacher. He helped us make the course great. He's a hacker. So this is him in a hacking competition that I think he won the competition and took home a big check. There's actually hacking competitions for cash. And we've had a number of students participate and actually make cash from hacking competitions, which is really cool. So that's something that you may want to do along the way. Okay, I have finished my presentation, and I'll be happy to take any questions if you have.
You mentioned Teachable. Did you send out something about that?
I think it might be in the Slack announcements. Did you check the announcements channel in the Slack? If I'll send it out again, I'll make sure that you got it. But I sort of think I put it there.
Yeah, no, I see it. I see it.
Okay, great. So yeah, you go into Teachable, and then you go into CyberWise W25. That's this course. And I think Aaron's going to make a little welcome video to welcome you. If he didn't do it, maybe tomorrow. And then towards next week, he'll put some stuff up for you guys to get started on to prepare for the next class and so forth. Okay? So really happy to see you and looking forward to working together with you this year. I'm here for you. Like I said, I'm not a technical person. Don't ask me technical questions. But if it's about career development, the course itself, whatever issues, like I said, if you're not going to be here for a while, something's happening in your family, whatever, please let me know. And we're a team, we're a family, we're doing this together. We're looking forward to doing great things. So I thank you very much. And